loves you.
What's going on, guys? It's Quirky here. In this video I'm going to be showing you tips and tricks on Hardpoint. To start off, I'm going to be showing you the Hardpoint locations. This is more towards the noobs that don't really play Hardpoint too much and are just getting into League play and or Hardpoint alone. But to start, the first one's going to be right here in the middle. Right here where the center piece is. It's kind of obvious. The next one is going to be in this room down here. Don't worry, I'll get to the strategies and all that a little later on in the video. The third one's going to be underground, and this one just gets contested way too much, and I absolutely hate this hard point under here. It's ridiculous, but the strategy I have for down here works out pretty damn well, as long as you and your team coordinate very well. For the next one, it's going to be in this room right here. And that will be all of the hard points on this map. Alright guys, let's talk about roles. You always want to assign roles to your team, even if you're running in 3s, hell, even if you're running in 2s. So you want to have, if you're running in a team of 4, you want to have at least 2 slayers, 1 camper, and 1 runner. Now the term for camper, basically what the camper does, you guys obviously know what slayers are. They're the ones that capture the hard points and just own the shit out of people. Your camper, basically what his job is to cover your flanks, cover any points that the enemy can come in at in an obvious spot. And your runners, these are the guys that hold the anchor points and or what you would call spawn points. Now runners are very crucial. You need these guys. Without the runners, you're gonna lose unless you're playing a very shitty team. Now your runners, if he dies, you always want to have your camper go back and hold his spot, and or 1 slayer, whoever is closest, you want him to take the runner spot till he gets back to his spot. You gotta hold these spawns down. Alright, so let's talk about loadouts. These are my personal preference that I usually assign to my team. You don't have to use these, but they work very well for me and my team. But in the picture you can see your slayers using the vector, and this is map specific. So I mean, this is not a loadout that you're going to use on every map when you're watching my videos. It'll be different a lot of the times, depending on if it's close quarters, mid-range, or long range. But for my slayers, I always put a vector with quick draw, reflex, and foregrip. And this helps out a lot because for your slayers, they obviously need to get that gun up really quick when they're going for the hard points. And that reflex just adds that added accuracy, and that foregrip helps with recoil a lot. Now for secondary, obviously the Cat 40. I mean, that thing's a beast. It's so overpowered. For your perks, flak jacket. Everybody should always have flak jacket on all their classes. It don't matter what you're running. Toughness and dexterity. And then for your lethal, you want Simtex and primary gunfighter for your card. Now for your camper, he's gonna be a camper obviously, but he's gonna have to take mid-range shots even on close quarters maps sometimes. So I usually assign an AN94, and or you can pick an MA, either or. I like the AN because it's fully automatic, and if you got to get into a close quarters battle, the AN's fully automatic. The MA, unless you're host, is garbage to me. But with the AN, you're going to have the same attachments as what the Slayers have, except you're going to have a stock on the back. And everything is the same as far as perks and lethal and primary gunfighter goes. All that's the same. And for your runner, he needs to have the MSMC. That thing's a beast, no matter what. I just think that thing's a beast. So you don't want to use something like an MP7 because that thing kicks like mofo. and you want to put quick draw, foregrip, and stock. And the reason why I don't put reflex on this is because it's just that much of a beast. You don't need it. This thing does not recoil one bit when you put on all these attachments, the foregrip and the stock. Secondary and all the others are the same. So if you use this loadout that me and my team use right here, you're just going to dominate. Now, if you're struggling with your slayers on the vector, personally, I would switch to a Scorpion Evo with full metal jacket and suppressor and laser sight. Those combinations on that weapon are stupidly strong. I mean, I just kill people so quick. So, I mean, it's up to you guys. You don't have to use the same exact loadout that me and my team do, but it's definitely recommended. Alright guys, now it's time to get into the fun part. Now we're going to be running strategies, but to start off I'm going to show you a couple of good spots. I mean, if you guys are losing and they're capturing the hard points quicker than you, I'm going to show you a couple of spots that can help you get them off quicker. So in this example, in this clip, this is my team actually holding the hard point down in this clip. But if I come down here, you'll see one of my buddies is just sitting right here watching outside that door right there. Now there's a little trick. If anybody's camping this doorway or sitting in that corner, and they could just be sitting in this corner or that corner, but basically you can, if you have a frag grenade, I wouldn't use a Simtex because its blast radius isn't as good as frag grenade, or, well, yeah, that's right. Frag grenade has more of a blast radius than the Simtex does, but you can come down this way right here and you can throw grenades through this window right here. Now some people run flak jacket, some don't, but like I said, you should always run flak jacket. But in this case, you're gonna catch one of them because their whole team's not gonna be wearing flak jacket, guaranteed, and more than likely their whole team's gonna be posted up in this room and or behind it in the back here. But if you chuck a grenade through this window and you do it just right, you can get maybe 2-3 guys if they're not wearing flak jacket. I just personally think that that window is a beast. Now, another good spot is coming back here, and you can stand up right here and pick enemies off. That is another way to get enemies off of hard points. But you also need to check your back and make sure that they're not holding spawn back here, and or what you would call anchor. Your preference on what you call it. Now, let's move around to the other side here. I'm going to show you another spot. This is a good spot for the for when you start off and you're rushing into here like this guy's doing, but this ain't the start of the match. You can run across this this couch thingy. Yeah, it's a couch. You can run back and forth, and you can jump, and you can peek over, and you can see enemies over each side of these, and it's a great strategy. I've probably picked off multiple enemies doing this. It's amazing doing this spot. All right, so let's move on to another spot, which is back here. Now there's a hard point in here. Let's say the enemy's got the hard point in here. You can also chuck grenades up through these vents if you did not know that. That is a very good spot as well. Let me see if let me cover some more of these spots for you guys. There's also like a glitch to get one of these hard points. I forget which one it is. I believe it's the one that's in here, but you can sit in this corner and contest that hard point. If it's not that hard point, it's this hard point that's in down here. You can sit in one of the corners and contest it, but I'm pretty sure it's this one. If you sit up here in this corner, you can contest it. But I think I got 3 more points to cover for you guys before we start into the main strategies of this map. Now let's say there's the enemy's got the hard point down at the bottom. All the enemies down there, obviously. There's a vent right here at the top of the map, and you can chuck grenades down this hole, and or flashbangs, your preference. And I've killed an entire team off of one grenade throwing it down that vent. It's a beast spot. Um, Another good spot. Let's say that let me see. Let me make sure. Yeah. Let's say an enemy's sitting up in that window just camping his ass off. Well, you can get him off of that spot pretty damn easily. You can jump up on this desk right here, and you can creep over to the side. Let me go up a little bit, and you can see him in there because he's not going to be expecting to look over this high wall right here. He's going to be expecting to look right here. But that spot's a beast. I love that spot. And for the final one, let me see, where is it at? Oh, yeah, you can creep up along this edge right here with your character, and you can peek around the corner if somebody's camping right back here at this corner. Right here, because enemies will camp that corner, especially if it's a team that knows what they're doing. But yeah, that's pretty much the spots that I wanted to cover with you. Well, I'll cover just one more. This is another good spot that you can pick enemies off from. You can jump up here, and you can jump up and you can see enemies up there in the corner. Sometimes you can come back a little ways, and you can pick them off. But that's on both sides, and that's an excellent spot. Alright guys, let's talk main strategies here. I figured I'd get the regular tips and tricks out there, you know, to get enemies off of hard points easier, you know, with the grenades in the window and things like that. But for this one, we're going to, I'm going to show you basically some of these strategies that have worked for me and my team, enough to where we went on 40, I think it was 47 game win streak with me and my team that we went on at one point in time. And using these exact strategies, so I mean, if I run into you guys in matchmaking using my strategies, it's going to be pretty funny, because that ought to be an interesting match. But you want to try for getting the seal spawn, because if you do, it's amazing. Because the next hard point after the one in the middle is in this room over here, right down there. So to start, if you get the seal side, you want your runner to sit back here and anchor this spawn. Just have him hold this so you'll spawn here constantly. And if you start on the other side, on the mercs, basically you want your runner, as soon as he spawns, you want him to run all the way down here, and when he gets to this point, you want him to make sure nobody's coming from around that corner, and or none of them have spawned back here. If so, he needs to take them out, come back here, and hold back here. That way your team will spawn back here. But that's for the second one. For the first one, what you want your team to do, which me and my team didn't do in this match because we knew we were going to own them, and we did. But you want one guy going up the middle, one guy going to the right, and one guy going to the left. That's pretty simple, right? Okay, so for your first guy, he's going to run up here on the right, and you want him to go into, I call it the gazebo, because that's kind of what it looks like, just not in the circular shape. I can't speak. You want him to come up here in gazebo, and usually there's going to be a guy that runs in here from that end and or that end. So once you take him out, you want to jump up here, jump up and use that spot I showed you earlier, and make sure no enemies are coming, depending on what side you spawned on. Make sure no enemies are coming. If no enemies are coming at all, you want to come up here and you want to post up. So let's say you start on the merc side, you want to run up to this window here, and you want to watch that end over there, that corner, and you can watch that door. Now if you were the seals, you want to do the same over here. You want to watch that door, and you want to watch over there to the left. Now you also want to be running back and forth between these two occasionally to make sure that no enemies are coming up behind you. So for your second guy, he's going to be running straight up the middle. This guy right here, you might as well just say this is going to be your slayers that are on these next 2 points. Your campers obviously over there. But your first slayer is going to come out this door, and instantly he's going to lay down right here. This is an amazing spot to lay down. I mean, as long as your runner's in the back on the seal side, then you're good. Now let's say that you were the mercs and you hadn't got spawn yet, gotten that spawn back there yet. You want to set up on one of these spots right here. But until the mercs get the spawn over there, they want to just sit up on these oh, I don't know what you call them, little tiny beds. But yeah, this is an excellent spot for the seals because you will constantly be spawning over there if you started there. Yeah, it's amazing. So for your other slayer, this slayer over here, he's gonna help with holding the hard point. And what he wants to do is you want him to run all the way up, and you want for him to sit right here, kind of posted up in between these two. So I mean, you got a good directional angle on if they're coming left or they coming right. So if you see a guy, let's say in this middle door, you want to call it out to your camper in there, and you kind of just want to scooch out of the way, kind of sit right over here and camp and wait. Now while you're sitting over here camping, you can watch that left side. Now if he does not come out of there, just keep sitting there and have your camper watch and wait. But your camper still needs to be going back and forth between these 2 points. Now that's just a basic strategy that me and my team use, and it works well. I mean, it's just all about covering the 3 ways that they can come at you besides that left side. If they sneak through there, you're going to have to get your runner to come up and kill him. And for the next one, the second hard point, you already know that you got your runner back here. Obviously, he's got the anchor point. So you want your team that's out here to pull back. You want one guy posted up on this corner, and you want your camper. Your camper's gonna be, oh, where does the camper sit? Yeah, camper sits here to make sure. So yeah, your camper runs back and forth between these 2 points, just to make sure no enemies are creeping up, coming up from behind you. You got your runners back here, and then you got your 2 slayers. You got 1 slayer who's sitting right here watching that door, and then you've got 1 slayer that's right here watching the basement, because they will try to come basement on your ass. Now there is an open spot over here on the right that they can come from that you're not guarding, but that's what your runner is for. He'll be able to call them out when they're coming in back door. He'll yell back door, and then your guy that's sitting on the steps, your slayer on the steps, is going to turn around. He's instantly going to be able to pick him off like it's nothing. Now this strategy is simple, but it's very effective, and it's worked every time for me on this map. And so for the next hard point, it's going to be underground. And this is a bitch right here. But first thing you want to do is have your runner run all the way back around here and hold this spawn back here. And the best place for him to sit on this, really, that I found to be the best, is right behind here. This is a perfect spot for your runner to sit. Now while he's sitting there, you want to have everybody else go underground, obviously, because this one's a pain in the ass. So you want for all the rest of you guys to come underground. And there's really no real way to guard this, per se. It's a bitch. But usually I would have a teammate sit right here on this corner and just watch and wait for them to come down there. But if you guys have a spawn over there and you're holding it, it shouldn't be a problem. Now for the next 2 guys, what you want them to do is you want one to sit here, on top of there, and one to sit right here. And that's another basic strategy that'll work. Now they will be jumping down from there. You want your teammate to jump from here. If they contest it, you want him to jump from here and just kind of creep around this corner and pick them off. And a lot of guys like to lay down on the ground, and it gets very annoying. But there's really no like advanced strategy for being in the basement. It's a pain in the ass, but that strategy alone should help you out a lot, because a lot of people don't communicate very well on teams. Unless of course you're MLG and or very good into game battles. But for the next hard point, it's up here. You got your runner in the back. He's holding down spawn for you. I'd say between each hard point, I'd wait till the timer gets down to about 20 seconds or so, and then that's when you want your team to rotate to the next hard point. I mean, either way, you will have an advantage over them, no matter what. So for this final hard point, you want your entire team to get up here, of course. You want your runner to stay in the back. You want one guy, which is going to be your camper, you want him sitting right here watching front, because they will be coming through that front door like crazy. You got your 2 slayers. Now you got your runner back there. He's going to be like your lookout. He's going to be looking right to left, and making sure that they're not coming from the backside. And if they do, he needs to try to pick them off. If he dies, you got to pull out, put somebody else back there to take his position. So he's going to be watching those sides. So for your final Slayer, what you want him to be doing, you just want to kind of have him creeping back and forth between here, make sure they're not coming from underground and or from the right side. And this is another basic strategy, and it works very well. And people are going to call you campers, but you know what? It's all about the win. And I've won so many games, me and my team, doing the strategy on this map just like that. Now, if you're mercs on this when you first start out, like I said, it's kind of a pain in the ass to get that spawn over there, but if you use my strategies, you should be alright. If you guys have any questions or comments, and or if you guys want to play, try to, do a league play team or even game battles, I'm down for anybody who wants to play. Just hit me up on Xbox and let me know, or leave it in the comments. If you guys like this video, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button, the comments, it's all helpful.